Okay, so this is part two to the previous video. In the previous video, I talked about how the Kansas City Chiefs are coded to the 1986 Chicago Bears when they won the Super Bowl. It ties into the assassination of Obama. I just got done talking about how there was an assassination attempt on JFK 20 days before he died in Chicago. Obama and Abraham Lincoln, the only presidents to come out of Illinois politically. Also, the Kansas City Chiefs are they were originally the Dallas Texans. JFK died in Dallas. Also, the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't go to Kansas City and become the Chiefs until 1963, the same year that JFK was assassinated. And their first game was against the Denver Broncos on September 7th at Bears Stadium even. But that is a span 9/7 to the day that JFK got out of the attempted assassination in Chicago is a span of 56 days. Just an interesting number with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are in their 56th season. Jeremy Maclin just got hurt. His name adds up to 56. Jamal Charles even got hurt on a date that adds up to 56, a date numerology of 56. Also interesting, their first game was on 9/7. The Chicago Bears were established 97 years ago. Interesting too, someone just pointed out to me, Chicago's mayor is even this guy right here. He's supposedly been in the news a lot, but he's 56 years old. Just found that interesting. 56 years old. Also the 55th mayor of Chicago. If you write out the word 56, it adds up to 46 and 55. He was even born on the 333rd day of the year. I've talked about this so many times, dealing with Philadelphia being in its 333rd year of existence. This year was also a date numerology of 55. Retirement adds up to 55. Kobe Bryant retired. After shooting an airball, airball adds up to 55. Kobe, even a Philadelphia native. But this dude's name in gematria even adds up to 111, a number I talked about in the previous video, tying into the Chiefs and whatnot. Alex Smith even adds up to 111. So who knows, maybe need to look more into this guy, but that's for another time here. I forgot to mention Jeremy Maclin here. Look at his first year in the pros. Just the statistics. 2009, he had 56 receptions, the longest one being 56 yards even. Another interesting thing about 1963, if you write out 1963 in gematria, it adds up to 239. We're currently in the 239th year of the United States. Also, if you just write out Chiefs win Super Bowl L, it's 239. I know this year, though, they're doing the 50, the 5, and the 0, but just still interesting. So moving on here, the Chiefs beat the Houston Texans 30-0. And I honestly thought there might be something to do with the number 31 in this game, but whatever, I figured it out what it is. So 30-0. The last time that the Royals won the World Series was 30 years ago. The Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl right after that, 30 years ago. I talked about how it ties into Back to the Future as well, because Back to the Future ends on October 27th, 1985, the same day that the Royals won the World Series in 1985. Interesting on here, on ESPN today, they have the odds of winning the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs are at 8.8%. Just reminds me of the 88 miles an hour in Back to the Future. Could mean nothing. I just found that interesting. But 30 years ago, in the Super Bowl, when the Bears won, the Bears beat the New England Patriots, right? The New England Patriots. The Chiefs just won 30-0, and now they're advancing on to play the New England Patriots. And the Patriots' last game was against the Miami Dolphins. They lost 20-10 the last game of the season, a score that adds up to 30. Even the last time that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl was in Super Bowl IV. and the score added up to 30. So, I mean, just interesting, you know. This score adds up to 30. The last time they won the Super Bowl, 46 years ago. They're coded to the Bears that are all about the number 46. In this Super Bowl that was 30 years ago, they even play the Patriots just like the Bears played the Patriots 30 years ago. And then they win 30-0 going into the game against the Patriots. Interesting, too, I talked about the Kansas City Royals being coded with the 111 to Queen Elizabeth. Lots of Queen Elizabeth and Pope Francis coding during the World Series. But 30 years, if you write it out in gematria, adds up to 168, just like Queen Elizabeth II. Also interesting, it also adds up to 60, the small way. 1960 was even 56 years ago. Royal family adds up to 56. Queen Elizabeth became the queen because her dad died at the age of 56. So also in regards to the 111 stuff, Justin Houston also made his comeback in the game against the Texans. Just interesting, his name's Houston, right? They play the Houston Texans. I mean, come on, that just seems ridiculous. He's number 50, which makes me think of Super Bowl 50 once again. You know, Chiefs adds up to 50, but he got hurt during the Buffalo game on the 333rd day of the year. I talked about this day with Philadelphia. You know, just interesting that he would got hurt on that day. But he made his comeback 1 month, 11 days after he was hurt. Interesting, it's also 5 weeks and 6 days. The Chiefs are in their 56th year of existence. Also 41 days. Jamal Charles adds up to 41. Chiefs, with the S exception, adds up to 41. But I mean, even interesting, look, they scored 30 points that game even. I mean, weird. Also interesting, the score totaled up to 52. His name in gematria even adds up to 52. Also, just his last name, Houston. Houston adds up to 112. His birthday is even on January 12th, kind of like 112. Also, look at his stats here. He has 30 combined tackles now. After the Texans game, 30. Just another 30 reference. Also, the day that he got hurt to the day of the Super Bowl is a span of 2 months, 9 days. Remember, 29 adds up to 50. Super Bowl 50. Interesting, too, I guess. It's 70 days. He was the 70th pick in the draft. But the day that he came back was also 29 days before the Super Bowl. So he came back 29 days before the Super Bowl. Even got hurt 2 months and 9 days before the Super Bowl. And I mean, look at that. 70 in Pythagorean gematria even adds up to 29. Another interesting thing is the Chiefs just are coming off of a shutout then. If I can find it here, shutout adds up to 124, and now they're going to play the 12-4 New England Patriots. Also interesting, the game is on January 16th that they play the Patriots. January 16th adds up to 70. Another interesting thing about the number 70, 1946 is 70 years before 2016 even. So just the number of the 46 reference. 1970 is 46 years ago. Also the same year that the Chiefs won their last Super Bowl. Also, I seen on Zach's blog, he had something about the Dallas Texans. This is a team that was in the NFL for one season. It's before the Chiefs were the Dallas Texans in the AFL. So that's a completely separate team. But just interesting that their record was 1-11. They even were in the league in 1952, an interesting year. Queen Elizabeth became the queen in 1952. She was born on the 111th day of the year. But in this season, the only game that they won was against none other than the Chicago Bears. But I'm going to leave it at that. I was going to talk about a few more things. I want to look more into it, though. I don't know why. I just felt like there was something to do with the catch that Joe Montana threw to advance the Super Bowl to beat the Bengals, Tom Brady was a 4-year-old kid, and he was at that game. The catch adds up to 32, just like Chiefs. If you write out 32, it adds up to 50. Chiefs, the big way, even adds up to 50. There was also even the Papa John's commercial. The only thing that I thought was interesting was that this guy walks up to J.J. Watt, or Watts, or whatever it is, and then Peyton Manning, and he says he's telling him the deal about the fans. They have a new deal for fans. So just interesting he would walk up to them like they're fans. But then they also do say they don't have pockets or whatever, so it could mean nothing. I just want to rewatch it a few more times. But I also want to watch this college championship game here, so I'm just going to end it here, and maybe I'll make another video tomorrow night or something. But anyway, have a good night.